So this is going to be the review for Logan, which came out recently. As always, this first half is going to be non-spoiler, and then the second half will delve into the ending, things that happen throughout the film, and stuff like that. So, if you want to stop it there, go see the film if you haven't, and then come back to see what I thought about some things and what I thought I could change a little bit. Change just to make things a little different, make things that make sense. But, for now, we're going to keep it clean. We're going to keep it spoiler free. So let's just dive right into it. So, right off the bat, I want to tell you that this movie is worth your time. You have to go see it. If you have been a fan of the X-Men films, if you're a fan of Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, Wolverine, just Wolverine alone, you have to go see this movie. It's just dang near perfection is how I'll say it. I really am going to use that P word. It is dang near perfection. With that being said, let me go ahead and tell you guys, the story if you don't know already. Basically, it's set in the future, and we are seeing a more old man Logan, basically trying to survive, I guess, in the world now where there are no longer any mutants, and he's also taking care of I guess, sick Professor Xavier, when all of a sudden a new mutant arrives, and there's something very peculiar and familiar about this one. If you really don't know what is going to happen in the comics or whatever that this is adapting from, then I'm not going to say it, and I'll let you guys figure it out and see it for yourself. But that is the story, basically, as simple as it can be. There's just a new mutant, and they gotta get her from point A to point B. That's it. Simple. And I think that works well to this film's advantage because it's simple but not too familiar. It's not a familiar story, and it also gives it room for emotional build up in the characters that you know and love, like Professor Xavier and Logan. So I think that's, the simplicity of the story is perfect. Also, one thing I really love about this film is the title. The title itself, the fact that it's just Logan, really says a lot, because at the end of the day, this film is not about Wolverine, it's about Logan. And, someone who has, like I said, been to hell and back, has seen and lost his friends, and just has fought in too many battles and has killed so many people. He's a very beat down Logan, and it's a beautiful title, and I'm glad they didn't go with Wolverine or anything Wolverine related. It was just Logan. I just thought that was swell. Perfect. Funny enough, this film is actually directed by James Mangold, who directed the Wolverine movie, the one where he goes to Japan, which is a very surprise because, not a lot of people really liked that one. I had no problems with it. I thought it was fine for what it was, but I know a lot of people really didn't enjoy that one. So very strange and funny to see him directing this one, but he does an absolutely amazing job. I mean, he's working with a rated R film, which is also another great thing about Logan, and is that it's rated R. There's violence, and there's a lot of F-bombs, and I'll tell you what about the violence. I never thought I'd be so excited to see so many limbs being torn off and a lot of claws. I was screaming out of excitement when all of these were happening, because I don't know if I said it or not, but this is the Wolverine movie that you have always wanted to see. You have always wanted to see Hugh Jackman just getting to just really wreck some people's lives up. And that's what you get here from this rated R film, is the violence. And it's awesome. The effects were great. The language, if you don't like F-bombs, there's a lot of them. And they're not like randomly tossed out F-bombs that just don't make sense in the dialogue and stuff like that. They're naturally flowing F-bombs, if that makes any sense. Like, it feels like it wasn't written on a script. It's just two people having conversation and some F-bombs drop, and it's great. It's really great. But I digress. James Mangold directed this film, and big surprise, because like I said, this film is almost near perfection, really. So amazing job from James Mangold. Now, when you're talking about this being the last film for Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart, you're going to expect some top-notch performances. And gosh darn it, that is exactly what you get. Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart just really, they've always been kind of at a 10 with their respective characters, Professor X and Wolverine. But in Logan, they take it from a 10 to just about 100. They really give it their all. I mean, you can tell that they put in everything that they have for this last film, which is their last film, and thank God it is their last film. And I don't mean to say that in like a really nasty way. I mean that in this is the perfect film to end, for this to be their last time. It really is. They give it their all. They make you feel, they make you laugh. I mean, the feels really hit you hard in this one. And it's just bravo. Thank you guys for about 17 years of portraying these characters. Really, just thank you. And then you have the new mutant that's in the film. It's a child. What's very interesting is that I'm always very weary of child actors in films or whatever. And then when you do find a good child actor, to me, I personally always feel like it's one of those situations where it's actually like a 30-year-old in a small person's body, because this little girl, Daphne Keene, did such an incredible job as Laura. She just, incredible job. She's very mute for pretty much a lot of the film, but it's her facial expressions and the things that she does and her movements that really tell a lot, even without her having to use words. And, for her, someone her age, to do something like that is absolutely incredible. So great job to her as well. Now, because this film takes place in the year 2029, this film, Logan, is considered canon. So it fits into the timeline of past X-Men films that you have seen. And there are references to those past X-Men films in this, but they're not really major plot points or anything like that. So if you haven't seen all of the X-Men movies or any of them, which I don't know how you haven't, but anyway, if you haven't seen any of them, it's not really going to ruin the experience of Logan. Logan is its own self-contained story that works with or without those X-Men films. The only thing is you won't pick up on some subtle little references to past films, like one in particular. You will see a katana hanging above Logan's bedroom, and that's obviously a reference to the Wolverine. Like I said, James Mangold also directed that. And there's some other little things here and there, but again, it's not going to ruin the film for you. You can go in blind to this, not knowing who Wolverine is even, and you'll still really enjoy this film. I promise you that. But back to the original point of what I was almost getting at, but this story is canon. It fits in with the X-Men films. And so, a lot of people are like, well, that's kind of putting yourselves in a corner. And I was one of those people as well. But I sat down and I thought about it. Now, this isn't necessarily a spoiler because it's in the trailer, so I won't consider it a spoiler. But there's a scene where Logan finds X-Men comics. And he's like, not even half of this is what actually happened. It's just all, it's emphasized for, to sell, to make it seem like a profitable, oh, it's X-Men, this and that. And I think just that little string of dialogue really shows that, Logan is in a more grounded reality, right? And you could probably assume that all the X-Men films you have seen are kind of just those emphasized comic book versions of the real world. You know what I mean? So those X-Men films are just comic books in this real world. I think that was the easiest way I could have explained it. But yeah, there's something about it. I know it doesn't really make sense. The X-Men franchise has gotten a little topsy-turvy. Changes here, going into the future, and then going to the past, and days of future past, stuff like that. But I think that little simple scene really helped it. And if you go see it, I think you'll understand more what I'm trying to get at. But yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I can get into. But yeah, it's self-contained story. It's tough. Like I said, the first 5 minutes of this film are perfection. You really get to see a beat up, very tired Logan who has done this for pretty much all his life. He has seen things that pretty much no one should see. He's lost friends, family, things of that sort. And just those 5 minutes alone really emphasize that point. It really shows. And like I said, the 5 minutes are perfect. I think that's going to be it for the non-spoiler part. If that was a little too vague, I apologize. But yes, thank you, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart. This was an incredible way to go. Great last film for you guys. Like, if this is your last time reprising these roles, excellent job. Thank you. But now it's going to get into a little spoiler stuff about what I think could have changed. So if you haven't seen the film, go ahead and stop here. Come back if you do go see it. And Yeah, so let's head over there to Spoiler Town. Now, there was a couple things that I really didn't understand. One was Stephen Merchant's character. I cannot remember his name. Very sorry. But, I love Stephen Merchant, and it's great to see him in this. But I felt like his character was a little just not shoehorned in, just it wasn't fully developed. At the end, he makes his sacrifice, to save Logan and X-23 or Laura. And, it just doesn't really feel like there's no really big emotional impact to that sacrifice. It just, I don't know, there's something about Stephen Merchant's character wasn't enough development, I guess, for him, is what I'd say. And then the biggest thing that I kind of had a problem with this film is that, the death of Professor Xavier, it felt very downplayed. His farewell and his death felt very downplayed. You know, at first he gets killed by X-24, and then they fight, and then they bury him, and then that's it. You see Logan's personal emotional struggle when as he's burying him, and a little bit after that. You see that and you feel it, but it's not necessarily like a big send off that you would have expected from the film, being that it's going to be their last one. You just really don't feel that. And I think it had something to do with the fact that it was X-24 that killed them. If I could have gone back and changed it, I personally, when the film started, I thought that what was going to happen is because of all of Professor X's seizures. Oh, that was hard to get out. Because all of his seizures and the damage that he causes when he happens, what I thought was going to happen, I think would have been a little bit more better, is if they ran out of his medicine to stop the seizures from happening, and at one point he just has a huge seizure and everybody's going nuts and this and that, and the only way to stop him is for Wolverine himself to effectively kill Professor Xavier. I thought that would have been a more stronger, it would have been such a bigger impact if Wolverine was the one to kill Professor X, because just there was no medicine to stop the seizures. And you can't really have that seizure going on for so long. I think in this in one line, Boyd, I think was his name, the bad guy, says the world's most dangerous mind. Oh, forget. I'm sorry. I really butchered that. But yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen, is that they were going to have to put him down. He was going to have to put Professor X down himself. I thought that would have been a little bit more stronger, impactful. I would have lost my mind if that's what would happen. If that's what happened, but ooh, yeah, I just thought that would be a little bit bigger of an ending. Or not an ending, but a send-off for him. And I think just those two things were all I really had to say about, for spoilery kind of stuff. So, like I said, Hugh Jackman, Patrick Stewart, I salute you. Thank you for 17 years of portraying some of the most awesome characters in the Marvel comics, in the X-Men series. Thank you. You guys did fantastic. Appreciate ya. Love ya. And appreciate you guys for watching this review. If you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of Logan in the comments. I'm gonna say, kind of keep it spoiler free if you can. I feel like I'd appreciate that a little bit more, just if people see it. I don't want people to get this spoiled for them, because it is such a great film. So let me know what you guys thought, and I guess I'll be seeing you for another review. Yeah, so I'll see you later.